First, let me congratulate you on signing up for the CFA examination. My name is Carl Kriego. I am the Level 1 examination instructor here at NYSSA. I began teaching CFA exam review courses in the fall of 1988, right after I received my CFA charter. And I have been teaching levels 1, 2, and 3 since that time. And I teach the Level 1 curriculum here at NYSSA. I've taught CFA review courses here in New York, in Abu Dhabi, and in Hong Kong. I have also helped write notes for the CFA examination and have been involved in other processes with regard to that. The course that we offer here at NYSSA is a review course. I want to be very clear what we mean by a review course. We ask that you do the readings before you come to class. Now, the readings can be either the actual CFAI readings or maybe study notes that you have purchased from another vendor. It is important that you go over this material before you come to class, because the purpose of class is to review the more difficult concepts and to do practice problems that will be working in class and also be assigned for homework. The notes that we will provide you will be online. You can download them and then bring them to class in hard copy or on your laptop, iPad, whatever you have. Now, the notes are also color-coded. We have key definitions are in blue, formulas are in red, and problems that we go over are also in green. So that way you get visually stimulated during class, as well as having a multitude or a multi-type learning environment that we will provide for you. The homework questions are also posted online, and we will go over many of those, and once we have covered a topic, all answers will be posted so you can check your solutions. And another point that I want to emphasize about our review class is the availability of the instructor. I will be available before and after class if you have questions, and also via email. So if you can feel free to contact me at any time if you have any question on any of the material that we have covered. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I possibly can, and so that you're not sitting there worrying and sweating about topics that you're having difficulty with. We expect people to have difficulties with some parts of the exam. Some of this will be very, very new to you. Others, if you have a degree in finance or accounting, will be quite familiar to you. Everyone brings a strength or a weakness to the exam. And so therefore, we're going to try to capitalize on your strengths and also build up upon the weak areas that you may have. And of course, our goal is for you to pass this exam. The lecture notes, as I've stated before, are summaries of the material, and again, summaries, so I can't overemphasize the fact that a lot of the study has to be you. The CFA Institute asks that you spend about 300 plus hours in preparation for the exam, and that is something that I think you've got to monitor very carefully, because it will take a great deal of time and effort on your part. It all comes down really to you. We can guide, we can help, but in the last analysis, it's got to be up to you to master the material so that you'll be successful on the exam. One of the key questions I get right now especially is, what can I do now to prepare for the June exam, or should I even begin preparing now for the June exam? And my answer is yes, there are several different things that you can do to help prepare for this test. Number one, learn to use a calculator. There are only two calculators that are allowed for the exam. That's the HP12C or the TIBA2 Plus. You've got to learn the basic math functions as well as the time value of money functions, such as present value, future value. And also, if you can learn the statistical keys, such as calculating mean, variance, that would also be very, very helpful as well. And the question is, which one is better? They're both about the same. I think the reverse notation on the HP12C confuses some people that have never used it. and therefore the TIBA2 Plus is probably the better calculator because of that. But when I took the CFA level exams, I used the HP12C and was successful using that. All right. Another thing you can do to prepare for the exam is to review basic financial accounting. The CFA Institute assumes that CFA candidates have had a course in basic financial accounting, and it counts for about 20% of the CFA Level 1 examination. It's the largest of the 10 topics that are on the test. We don't have time to cover the basics of financial accounting in the class. That's why it's for. Remember, we're reviewing for the exam itself. So it would be good if you would, accounting has something you've been away from or not had, to begin by reviewing basic financial accounting. The things you want to focus in on are the construction and format of the income statement, the balance sheet, and the statement of cash flow. If you can master that before you take the course, then it will be a lot easier for you to cover the topics. Other topics that you may want to go into are different methods of inventory accounting, depreciation, income taxes, and any of those other topics that you want to get into before the course would be very beneficial as well. But at least having a command of basic financial accounting and those 3 statements then is a must if we're preparing for the exam itself. Another thing that you can do to help now to prepare yourself is looking at the time value of money sections in the quantitative methods CFA Institute readings. I assume that most people have had time value of money in their college careers because most of our candidates are have degrees in business administration or finance accounting. And therefore, I won't be covering very much of that in class. So a careful review of just the time value of money, the only section in there that we're not going to spend a lot of time on in class, would be very helpful. We will work some problems in class for time value of money to show you the different types of examination questions we think will be coming at you. Make sure you know how to master those, and then moving on into the more difficult topics in quantitative methods, such as hypothesis testing. So to look at the time value of money material would simply be a real plus, and also learning to use your calculator with regard to ordinary annuities and annuity due calculations would also be extremely helpful. Another thing you can do is to read the ethics portion of the CFA curriculum materials. Ethics accounts for about 15% of the test. That's the second largest topic area on the examination. And most people have not been seen this material before, and therefore it is new. The ethics questions can be quite challenging, and they like to look at the nuance of the standards. So reading that material and looking at the type of conduct that's acceptable or unacceptable under our Code of Ethics and Standards of Professional Conduct would also be very important. One thing to do is do not memorize the standard numbers. That's not what they're going to be testing on. Look at concepts. Look at what's acceptable, what's unacceptable behavior as a CFA candidate, as a CFA charter holder. Another point, and this is something that you need to do throughout your study program, that would be from now on until almost June when you take the exam, is check for errata. The CFA Institute will be posting errata in its readings, and many of the note providers that you may buy will also be posting errata. Please check for errata on a regular, routine basis during the period that you'll be studying or preparing for the exam. It will save you a lot of confusion and a lot of worry, and so it's one thing I tell people to do all the time. With regard to the CFA Institute readings, I announce errata in class. I keep checking it on a weekly basis, and we'll tell you about it as we get to a particular topic. So I think those are the basic things that you can do right now to prepare. learn how to use a financial calculator, review the basics of financial accounting, study some ethics, and also look over the time value of money within the quantitative section of the CFA Level 1 curriculum. Now, one other point that I would like to stress to you is this. The examination, looking at the material in total, it's not all that difficult per se. It's just there's so much of it. And the point is that you've got to condense to get it into a manageable whole. And so therefore, I also recommend that you make up your own set of flashcards to help you memorize key formulas, key concepts that you will need. Again, congratulations on taking the CFA curriculum and going ahead with that. And I wish you the best of success in your study program.